Ready?
Yep, I've
Yeah,
started
let's do
recording.
All right, we do everything now.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Welcome back to the Geek Tavern, guys. This is our Tavern Tourney, and we are on match number 2, which was originally going to be Edwin Santana as Kraven the Hunter and Casey Brogan with Katana, but due to unforeseen circumstances, Casey was not able to join us. So this is now Casey.
I will now be representing his character and beating the shit out of Kraven the Hunter, moving on in the tournament. So with us as well is Sonny.
Hello.
He is permanently taking over my job as host because I'm gonna whoop up on Edwin, and I'm gonna move on to whoop up on our last week's winner or Monday's winner as Hit Girl. Austin represented Hit Girl well and got the upset win, so he is moving on in the tournament. And I will be taking him on next. But first I'm gonna have to, take care of this.
Big plans.
Let's go.
Alrighty, so to start us off with the rules, we're gonna start off with rule number 1. Sonny, you want to go ahead and give that to us here?
First rule is character. The character only, so no sidekicks or side chicks. The second rule is specific version or universe. So you pick a specific version of that character and you stick with that one, right?
Which I will be going with the main DC comic line of Katana, up to her current iteration. What are you going with?
Original Kraven, but he's kind of the same in everything I've seen, except he's kind of the same in almost everything I've seen, except for he kind of uses those potions, but I'm assuming wouldn't be fair in this situation, so I'm not gonna.
That's your funeral. You could use them if you want, dude. It's not gonna help you.
I'm a superhuman with the potions. You can't touch a superhuman. You're just a normal human being.
I got a few reasons why I can, but you're using the standard 616 version.
Standard. Yeah, that's right.
All right.
No guns, no bows. It's not what he uses, even though that's how you kill Spider-Man.
Yeah, that goes.
No, almost killed him. He didn't let him die.
Well, let's get into that later. Go ahead and finish off the rules.
Do you want to go ahead with rule number 3?
The third rule is only the usual equipment and powers that that character originally has. So no one-time powers that they were given for special occasions or anything like that.
Sounds good.
Beautiful. All right. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and have Nyko set the scene, or should I say set the mood.
Okay, guys, let me paint you a picture. Katana makes her way through the Savage Lands in search for a Cobra base that she was tipped off to. In a clearing stood a man wearing a lion's mane for a vest, holding a Cobra soldier by the neck. Kraven turns to Katana. Ah, that sword would be fine for my collection. Katana readies herself for battle. Let's get this going.
All right. So
Katana.
we have our handy-dandy trusted Star Wars coin here that'll determine who's going to go first. All right. So heads is this guy.
Lord Vader. How dare you say this guy?
I've never watched Star Wars.
Real, what's wrong with you?
Our guest star. Usually our guest host.
He's not even Darth Vader. It's Lord Vader.
Lord Vader, yeah.
Heads will be Lord Vader, and tails will be Anakin and Obi-Wan's epic battle.
Sweet.
Will you do the honors of flipping the coin?
Am I calling it?
Yes, you call it, Edwin.
Cool. I'm going with Lord Vader, son.
All right.
How am I
Sonny?
flipping this onto the floor?
Flick it,
No, flick it,
catch
catch
it.
it.
Oh,
Put it on the wrist.
all right. Oh god, this is a big. Lord
Oh.
Vader.
Lord Vader it is. So,
Ba, ba, ba.
first.
All right, sweet. I got one thing to say. You're in my house, son. That's it. You're in the Savage Lands. That's my home.
Let's
So
do it,
you
man.
fucked up
I'm
coming in.
fully prepared for this. Let's go.
I made a mistake for coming into my home to begin with.
All right.
So
We go to point number 1.
what's my point number 1?
Yep.
All right, so I pretty much have the environment entirely to my advantage because I know everywhere. I won't get lost. I know where, as a hunter, I've set traps that haven't even been like fucking sprung by any animals he's hunting. So I might just lead you to one of those before I even set the ones that I carry. So I'm just gonna let you follow me first in what is my territory, not yours.
Okay, good.
That's my first point.
That's your first point? Okay.
Yep, that's all I need right now.
All right.
Do you have any rebuttals, Nyko?
Yes, as short of a point that was. First of all, let me ask you. This is a chance encounter. So you're telling me that there's already traps set all throughout this forest?
Yes.
Okay. Second of all, I don't believe that Kraven is just standardly walking around with a ton of traps on him.
That is his basic. Those are things that he's walking around
Okay,
with
but
as a plethora.
what kind of traps is he walking around with? Because you gotta imagine this is a guy literally wearing nothing but like pants and a lion's mane.
Definitely.
Where is he carrying all these traps with? And if he is carrying a ton of traps, I feel like that's a bit lumbering on him. He's going to be pretty slow carrying all this extra baggage on him, trying to set traps while Katana is coming after him with a sword.
I mean, realistically, yeah, of course, if he has a crap load of stuff. But again, the version of what we're speaking of with Kraven, the version of Kraven that I use, he is known to be walking around with a plethora of poisons, traps, and weapons, right? So that's just his character. So with that being said, the traps on him aren't even the traps that I'm going to set to catch you. I'm just going to try to trap you in those that I have probably already set from the hunt that I've been doing all my life since he was a kid in those lands, which is the Savage Lands with his family. So he walks with a plethora of weapons all the time, including poisons and the potions that give him superhuman abilities, which is pretty much like Ultra Instinct for him. And so it gives him superhuman. He runs at 40 miles an hour when he takes that potion. He gets superhuman strength, right? And not to mention, again, in my own homeland, Katana's been doing martial arts since she was young, but he's also been hunting, and he's known as not just a hunter, but the hunter in that universe. And to be the hunter, he's also the Russian hunter. So I definitely have size over Katana. He's a Russian man and then an Asian woman. I mean, let's put that. That dude is huge.
Okay,
That's number one.
A little bit.
No,
Size
okay.
doesn't mean everything now. Okay.
That dude is huge.
That's okay. I'll move on to my point number one because I'll actually address the size advantage we got going on here in a later point. But let's go ahead and get to my point number one here. Let's talk about skills and equipment that Katana is carrying on her. First of all, she is not a skilled swordsman. She is the skilled swordsman. She's at least in the top 10, according to the DC universe, at least in the top 10 of top skilled swordsmen and women in the entire DC universe. She also has several hand-to-hand fighting styles. Obviously, by training in traditional Japanese style, she's also been a part of the Outsiders, which was originally headed by Batman. She's had tons of experience around Batman, which she's picked up a lot of tactical knowledge from. She's also been a part of Birds of Prey, which you have Black Canary and Batgirl, you know, a lot of these great hand-to-hand martial artists that she's been training with. On top of that, not only is she great at hand-to-hand and sword fighting, she's a great marksman. She can shoot a bow and arrow, about almost as good as Green Arrow, and she has a ton of shurikens she always carries on her. Now, who's to say she doesn't get in a tussle with Kraven? Kraven drops his bow because he is known to carry a rifle and a bow. She could pick that up easily, take off somewhere, and just be shooting them from long distance.
Not the Kraven I'm using.
Okay.
He barely uses that. He uses spears and axes. He doesn't use ranged weapons. That's not who his character is.
Regardless, let's move on from there. Katana is fast enough. She is at peak human, beyond peak human in reaction speed. So she's been known to cut bullets in half, dodge bullets. She even, with her sword Soul Taker, she's been able to deflect heat rays from Zod. Now, General Zod is a Superman class villain. He's in fact another Kryptonian who has heat vision. She was able to go one-on-one with him and deflect one of his blasts.
Really?
From close range. Now, she is probably fast enough to dodge your spears and your axes and your darts, and even probably deflect them. She could use these spears that are lying on the floor with her expert marksmanship and use them against Kraven as well.
Yeah, but that's acting as if Kraven is nowhere near her level, which is just not true either, because he is a master hand-to-hand combatant since he was a kid. Just as she trained martial arts since she was a kid, he was trained as a master and is known as a master hand-to-hand combatant, which even in that case, he uses or decides not to use guns or any kind of ranged equipment whatsoever for the simple fact that he using his bare hands to kill.
And
He's a hunter. He's the hunter. And being the hunter, and he's a savage enough to use his own hands. Katana has all of that, but the truth is what she did with Zod and everything is that sword. That's all. That's what's giving her everything that she has.
No, and
once he takes that sword, what are you gonna take away?
I actually have an example in my next point of why that's irrelevant. It's not all about the sword with her. But continue on with my point number 1. Let's kind of go into her Soul Taker, the sword that she carries. This is a mystical weapon. It's unbreakable. It has been proven to cut through pretty much anything. And I know at a certain continuation or a continuity in Kraven's storyline, he's become somewhat of an immortal. I don't believe this will be able to have a difference against Katana because of her sword. Her sword steals souls. That's why it's called Soul Taker. The souls become trapped in her sword.
The sword needs to land.
Huh?
The sword needs to land. It's not going to happen.
Oh, I do not believe he's fast enough to not land. I have not seen.
It's not about him being fast enough. He's smarter than her. He's a hunter. He thinks that way when he's in a fight. And in his own land, like I said, you brought it to the savage lands.
I understand that.
Trust me, that girl is out of her element here. So she's struggling here.
Okay, before I end my point, with Kraven's mindset of wanting to finish things off with his hands, he has to get closer. On top of her hand-to-hand training, she is also proficient in pressure points. Just like Batman's able to take you out with pressure points, she does the exact same thing. You don't want to get close to her. She's the faster and the quicker person in close combat. That's the end of my point number 1. You have any rebuttals?
Cool. He also is a master of pressure point fighting too. That's part of his mastery as a hand-to-hand combatant. So they both are good at that. And true, she's meant. Again, my whole point is that he's the smarter one here. He understands that if she has a sword, right? If she has a sword, she has that extra distance is number 1. So he will use maybe his spears to throw when he wants to get close. Yeah, maybe what he's going to use is not. He's going to use his axes, and he likes using his hands. But like I said, his biggest things are what makes a hunter a hunter. First of all, a hunter always watches where he steps. So she's not paying attention to those little things that are like sleight of hand for hunters to do. She's fucked, which is what I'm thinking, what I will always get Katana with, which is the simple fact that Kraven will land it or trap her one way or another, not necessarily getting close, but trapping her to where she's already incapacitated to then get close. You get what I'm saying? And then she's screwed. He knows he's got to disarm that weapon out of her hands. Absolutely. And he's going to take his time and be smart about it because he's a hunter, the hunter. And they're intelligent people to be able to do what he's doing, especially hunting someone like Spider-Man, right? And who he spends hunting all the time, which is a very, very powerful hero. And he loses a lot, but he also wins a lot. So the only difference here is that he's not fighting Spider-Man. He's fighting Katana in his own homelands. And I think Katana will get trapped with all the traps that he has, or poisoned, which is even worse because all it needs is to land once. He needs to time one spear to just scratch, and she's poisoned, and that poison can paralyze you. And I'm sorry, but guess what? You can't do anything when you're paralyzed. Kraven the Hunter grabs her, and dead. That's it. It's over. Kraven wins.
Level is going to be on another level as well as her awareness. So getting her trapped in a trap is going to be difficult regardless.
Well, I'll go back to that in further points as well.
Now, real quick question for you, Nyko. Does she ever have any points where she has messed up her reaction speed, where it was not where she anticipated?
As of what I can see, not really. I mean, obviously, she's not at Superman levels. You know, she's a regular human at the peak of peak human ability. You know, acrobatically, reaction speed, even strength. And I'm actually going to make that point soon. She doesn't slip up too much, but at the same time, she is a street level fighter, as is Kraven. But again, I'll save my points for the upcoming discussion.
Okay. Edwin, do you have your point number 2?
Point number 2. All right. I'll talk about what happens when he takes the mystical potions that he takes. So when he takes the mystical potions, like I said, it's not gonna be the longest point, but so that you understand exactly what happens to him, right? So like I said, he gets superhuman. That's exactly what he does. So think about what happens to, and I use another character. Think about what happens to Captain when he gets injected, all that. Pretty much what he gets. He gets to run, like I said, 40 to 50 miles an hour. He can lift over 2 tons, right? That's like lifting a 20-pound dumbbell for us, right? It's nothing for him to be moving around 2 tons plus of weight. That's the type of strength that he ends up having. And again, I will touch on my first point, which I think is his strong suit, is his plethora of weapons. Biggest thing, all of them being sets or sorts of traps, right? And now that he has this ability, these potions that he takes to have superhuman strength, right? Superhuman speed, he'd be pretty much having ultra instinct. I know I'm using that from DBZ, but because that's like literally my best way to do it, because that's what I guess that's the fastest way to me to describe what I was reading about what happens pretty much with him. When he takes this as a hunter, he gets that instinct to understand, how to go about getting his prey. You know what I mean? And being the predator, being the hunter. And again, I still touch on that first point with traps because it's endless for him. He's got nets, he's got tranquilizers, he's got poisons, and all it takes is one of those to really, maybe not the net, but the tranquilizer, the poison to really land and to really end it right there.
Okay.
Is there any sources where he has done this successfully, or let me not do it that way. Has there been any fails that have been recorded?
Fails?
Fails.
Is Spider-Man really?
Well, how long do those?
He does constantly lose to, like, Spider-Man. That would be his failure. But he's also known as always succeeding in his hunts. You know what I mean? And that being said, Spider-Man is that one hunt that he's never really accomplished, and that's why in his last comic book they speak about his last hunt of what he decides to do, because he never uses guns, he never uses weapons, but he uses it against Spider-Man to officially do what it is that he wants. And but before that, always got the job done, even when he was with the Sinister Six.
Okay, and
how long does his potions last, or whatever? You said he takes potions to increase his strength.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so in all honesty, multiple sources said multiple different things. One said he had got this permanently. I think these are the universes when start to come in, that he got this permanently by a mystical being. Another one says he takes it as potions. Now, I did not read into how long that lasts for him. I guess it would last like throughout his hunt, but specifically, not sure. I give it, I don't know. I mean, I would say it would probably last the night, if anything, but honestly, I don't know that answer.
If I'm not mistaken, I do believe that Kraven always has used potions, even all the way back to Kraven's Last Hunt series. But recently, the witch, I think her name's Calypso, gave him a potion that has made him to a degree immortal. That's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not entirely immortality, but
yeah, it's not confirmed that he's entirely immortal, but he does have a serious healing factor to the point where his daughter stabbed him through the heart and he healed from it. So there is that
Wolverine type level type shit.
Yes,
in the head
and that's where I'm going with my second point. What it is that he gains when he takes these potions, or when he's pretty much near immortal. You know what I mean? Which is a difficult foe in itself. Not to mention already a formidable opponent before that. So.
I mean, I don't really have a rebuttal for that. The potions are a serious thing, and I was a little bit worried about this because, remember, I just did research today. I literally have done 2 hours of research on both of these characters. So I've written as much as I can, and I've researched as much as I can. I believe this point I'm about to make is going to kind of touch on a counter for those potions. So let's kind of get into it. Let's talk about some of the feats that Katana has had and some of the failures that that Kraven has had. But first of all, we'll start with Katana. Katana has held her own against Killer Croc underwater. Now, Killer Croc is this massive human crocodile thing, easily past 2-ton scale. She's held her own in his own environment. You're talking about that, we've walked into your hometown. Katana has done this multiple times. She's used to fighting in areas she's not familiar with. Not only that, she's actually has a win against Killer Croc, and it's not even in her own body. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier, where I was going to touch on her not needing her sword. There is a series where she switched bodies with a character named Eve, who was a member of I guess a evil supervillain crime syndicate called Cobra. She switched bodies with Eve. Admittedly, that body was not as fine-tuned. Reaction speed, strength, anything was not as fine-tuned as Katana's body. She still defeated Killer Croc hand-to-hand, no weapons.
Damn, that's crazy.
Okay. Not only that, she has stalemated with not only Ra's al Ghul, but also Deathstroke. Two incredibly, not only, skilled martial artists and fighters, Deathstroke sets traps like crazy. Deathstroke also has a type of healing factor that I would probably put just under Wolverine's. He does have a type of healing factor. He also has enhanced strength and enhanced speed. Very similar to Kraven. She was able to beat a character named Mirror Master, who pretty much just makes a bunch of multiple versions of himself that aren't real versions. She was able to see through his traps and his different decoys in order to find the real Mirror Master and defeat him in that way as well. She's also a couple other notable wins. She's defeated Rostam, who is another one of DC's top sword fighters, and she's also thrown by upper palm strikes. She's thrown a character named Wild. Now, Wild is a mystic bear-man hybrid. So pretty much he's just like kind of Killer Croc, except in a bear way. He's a giant bear, pretty much. She was able to throw him. This tiny little Asian lady, as you say, was able to throw this massive bear into a wall. Not only that, her biggest, I think, feat, in my opinion, from the research that I've done, she was able to cut off the hands of a character named Major Force. Now, let's just kind of go over Major Force's abilities here. He has super strength, speed, and endurance, up to the point of pretty much a Superman type character or a Captain Atom. He also has invulnerability. Now that's huge. You gotta think, a character with invulnerability shouldn't be able to be cut in general. She cut his hands clean off. He also has a healing factor, control over dark matter, and flight. And that's just like a touch on the powers that he has. She was able to hold her own against this character as well. And like I mentioned in my previous point, she was able to take on General Zod one-on-one. Now, she has no superpowers whatsoever other than the mystic force behind her sword. She was able to deflect General Zod's laser beams and then even cut him, who is another invulnerable type character. I mean, you gotta think he's Kryptonian just like Superman. His skin should be impenetrable. That is the power of that sword, and that is the skill of her as a swordswoman. There's also another. Let's kind of go into the history of Katana. Katana, at one point during her storyline, I think it was during the original Outsiders comic line, she actually had Soul Takers stolen from her. Her origin stories is that her husband and her children were killed by her husband's brother, and that's how she took Soul Taker, because she ended up defeating him and taking Soul Taker. Well, Takeo, the brother, ended up taking her sword, stealing it, and taking it to the Yakuza boss he worked for, where they in turn resurrected all the souls from the sword, gave them physical bodies. So all the souls were mercenaries, assassins, and her husband. So she went on to pretty much be forced that she had to kill the plethora of assassins and mercenaries that were in the sword. She also was forced to kill her husband. Now, that right there is a huge thing because of the resolve that she has. There's not going to be any confusion on if she's willing to kill or not. I mean, she was willing to kill her husband. If she's got to do what she's got to do, she will do it. So that's some feats that Katana has had that I could find during the in her comic book run. And I mean, she's been around since I believe the 80s. So she's never been a main character, but she does still have her share of feats. Now let's kind of go over some of Kraven's defeats. He may have defeated Spider-Man, but this was a Spider-Man that was grief-stricken. He was still, during Kraven's last hunt, when he originally was defeated by Kraven, he was still kind of deciding whether he wanted to be Spider-Man or not. He had killed his first person, and he wasn't there mentally. Kraven, I believe, just got the jump on him with that.
Yeah, but now I have objections.
Go ahead.
Because first, now we're speaking multiple universes of these characters.
No, this is the same 616 line.
You know, so everything that you just said about Katana is all that same one Katana that she does, and I don't understand. This mystical force is something that when she wields this sword, she gains this.
No,
this
there's
strength.
no mystical force that she doesn't get any enhancements or anything. This sword is mystical in itself. It can cut anything. It's unbreakable, and it will steal your soul. That is basically what I'm trying to say. She's fast enough to deflect with the sword. She's fast enough on her own to deflect laser beams, bullets, and other projectiles coming at her. But as far as giving her any kind of mystical enhancement, no. And there is an argument I could use because in her current in her current form, it's said that the sword may grant her immortality. But I'm not going to use that because it hasn't been confirmed. So as far as the sword giving her any kind of mystical ability or anything like that, there's none of that with her. All her fighting and everything, that's all her. The sword is just a tool. Anything else?
No. I was just listening, bringing this up so that I can have it close.
Okay. Now to continue on with my point, I want to go over a major defeat that Kraven has had. Now during a storyline, Kraven stole a saber-toothed tiger from the Savage Lands. The protector of the Savage Lands, Khazar, ended up going after him for this. Now Khazar is pretty much Tarzan. Okay, he's a cave type person. He's just this blonde guy. He's like a blonde Tarzan, pretty much. Now, this guy was able to defeat Kraven and get the saber-tooth tiger back. No, he doesn't use any crazy weapons. He doesn't have any crazy fighting style disciplines. He's probably stronger and faster than the average human. But in all honesty, he's just another Tarzan. This guy was able to defeat Kraven. Okay? Now, when you kind of match that up to Kraven loses more than he wins. When you match it up to the caliber of people that Katana has faced and beaten, or even stalemated against, between skill, power, speed, they all have just as much, if not more, as Kraven does. And she's able to one up, if not beat, most of these characters. And that's pretty much.
This sounds like she's expressed as way more than just a street level fighter at this point. Then to be able to superhumanly, without anything, hit, like you said, this bear up in the air and just throw him. That's not something a regular human being can do.
But it's something that Kraven can do, and he's considered street level.
But with the potion.
It's also something Batman has been able to do against characters like Killer Croc. You know, that's just that character. It may be a technique that they're able to do, but most of these characters are always going to be at peak human ability. Okay.
No, I definitely understand that. But taken away, I definitely get that they're all like Olympic level athletes, to put it at a better
beyond
a better term.
Beyond.
Yeah, they're beyond that pretty much. But what's it called? He gets his superpowers, what I say, from a potion and all. I guess as an objection, what you're saying or expressing about Katana is way more than without a potion that she has this superhuman abilities. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me.
No, because I never said she can run faster than 40 miles an hour. I know Kraven can by himself, no potions. But there's a difference. She has superhuman reaction speed, which again, doesn't mean she's metahuman. It means she's at the top level of human possible. And through technique and things like pressure points or just areas that they know how to leverage, the thing that she's best at, the thing that she's known for, that even Batman gives her credit for, is that she uses her opponent's strength and aggressiveness against them. It's not necessarily that she's stronger or faster, but she understands leverage and she understands when and where to hit.
That's the great thing about Kraven. He's not aggressive. He's intelligent. He's an intelligent killer. He'll take his time doing what he needs to do to get this job done. And he's facing one of the fastest people, who his arch nemesis is one of the fastest characters anyone knows, with his, Spidey tingle, like they call it in the movies. You know what I mean?
Yes, but he's not defeating him. Like I said, the one known defeat that I know, that the major defeat that I know, was Kraven's Last Hunt. And that was a Spider-Man that was distraught. That was
But he also was able to do what Spider-Man never could, and actually get Spider-Man's arch nemesis, the one guy that Spider-Man always lost to. His name is, I'm getting the blind spot in my head right now of the villain's name. God, I can't remember. Jesus. Yeah, I really can't remember. I just had it. But he also, you saying that, he also did what Spider-Man could never do. You know what I mean? So to take it away that, yeah, okay, he's lost, right? But you and I both know that losses don't change. If anything, make you better than what you are, if anything. And with that being said, he may have lost to a few things, and he has lost to a few characters and to Spider-Man, but also, again, still did a lot against a very strong superhero, and did, once again, something Spider-Man, a very strong superhero, could never do, which is beat his arch nemesis, not even once. And he did it, and then he let him go in front of Spider-Man. He didn't even freaking kill him. And he made Spider-Man go get him back. So he's resilient. He's a hunter. He won't stop until he gets the job done. You know what I mean? If he has air in his fucking lungs, he's gonna keep it going one way or another, with multiple, which is with his tools and his brain, just like Katana would. You know what I mean? And in that instance that they fight one another, I believe that Kraven takes it, because I just believe he's a bit more skilled in the art of actually killing than she is.
Okay. Well, that was your rebuttal?
Yeah, that's pretty much my last point, I guess.
That was your last point? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have a rebuttal to that then I'll get to my point. Let's put it this way. We're in a chance encounter. Most of Kraven's biggest feats, most of his biggest victories over better characters or stronger characters than he is, he's a hunter. So he takes pretty much the same it's the Batman effect, pretty much. Is I can beat anybody with enough prep time. Now here in this specific battle, they're from two different universes. He doesn't know who Katana is. He's never met her before. He just sees a chick with a sword.
Vice versa.
Exactly. But here's the thing though, is Katana takes on way more chance encounters. This version doesn't have anything to do with the comic book version, because she's not really in the Suicide Squad as much until, since recently. But Amanda Walder put her on the Suicide Squad as an enforcer. Now, if you're an enforcer, you don't sit there and plan out your attack. No, she goes in. You send her in to fuck everybody up. Okay? With Kraven, he has to plan out. He has to make his potions. He has to plan out how long his potions need to last to take on specific characters. He doesn't know anything about Katana, and he's not going to have anything prepped for her specifically.
Yeah, you're mistaken the fact that he just preps for everybody, though, man. He's the hunter. He's the most instinctual hunter. He's ready to go right then and there. The potion, I'll give you. Maybe he takes time to ready up the potion, but that's also to say that he don't have any vials on him, which he does at all times, because that's one of the biggest things about who he is. Everything he has is useful, even his vest, which emits electroshocks. His own vest has that. You know what I mean? So he has constant things up his sleeve which is what makes him the deadlier killer, because he's that hunter who always has something to use at any moment, and you will surprise you. And that's the biggest thing. Well, I guess that's my fight with what you're saying.
Okay. I'll move on to my last point then. I do want to touch on their mindsets now. Kraven, as you say, he's got the hunter mindset, but with that comes a ton of frustration. And when he gets frustrated, he starts getting sloppy. I'll keep putting out Kraven's last hunt. He was on the brink of depression pretty much because he could never defeat his arch nemesis, ever.
True.
You know, and he just so happened to catch Spider-Man at a time when he was not fully mentally there. But Kraven's been proven to get frustrated and even run away at times. You're not going to find the same thing with Katana. Katana doesn't run away because of the Bushido spirit. She was trained from the time she was a little girl in the discipline of being a samurai. She is able to do what she has to do when she has to do it. Like I said, she had to kill her husband for the second time. Like her whole world, her whole purpose for becoming a vigilante and everything was to find a way to free him out of that sword. When he was finally free, he was under control of another person. She had to then kill him and send his soul to its eternal rest. She's not going to give up. Whereas Kraven has gone, off the handle and gets very sloppy at times. Well, when he gets sloppy, he has to get close. And he's not going to be as sharp as he probably would have been at the start of the battle. That's all Katana needs.
Okay, so you're saying that his mindset will wither throughout the fight, not that he's going in with this withered mind.
No. And I don't see it happening, unless he can take her out right off the bat. But with her reaction speed to take on people like General Zod and Major Force, Ra's al Ghul, even Killer Croc, he's not going to take her out right off the bat.
I don't think you would either. That's why I said he's going to play his advantages, which is number one, environment. It's his home. That's number one. And already huge disadvantage for Katana, no matter how you look at it. You're in the Savage Lands, which is his home since he was a freaking child in Russia. You know what I mean? And he's mastered the entirety of that land.
He actually moved to the Savage Lands with his daughter after he went insane. That's as far from what I can read up to the current, Kraven the Hunter. He lives in the Savage Lands with his daughter, and he's not fully sane.
Yeah, but that's
so now you're
pointing. Yeah, but you're using. I get what you're saying, but that's not to say that he's gonna wither in a battle. You know what I mean? I could see that as he got older, he had this effect. But we're talking about them in their primes. You know what I mean? And in that instance, none of them are gonna be broken down. Either one of them. They're both head-hearted, and they're both just gonna go to the death, which is what this fight is. So I agree with you because I definitely get that point. My rebuttal to that is the fact that in this specific battle, with them being at their tops right now, I don't see that happening with him like you think it will. I think it'll battle back and forth with them both getting frustrated like any fight would. They're gonna land their shit. They're gonna hurt one another. But in the end, again, the advantage is big for him. You're in lands that he's hunted with multiple ways to get her into a blind spot, which is the dangerous move. She needs to get that sword to him, and he knows that because it's the only way you're going to get him, or you're going to get shuriken. So what is he going to do? He's going to play the hunter. He's going to make sure that he sets traps. He goes one way, he goes another way. He's going to make her look for him and make sure that she gets caught.
Again, I don't believe so, because this is going to end up having to go hand to hand. She's going to evade his traps. First of all, I don't see him just randomly running around and setting traps that she doesn't see.
No, I imagine it
this is a chance counter. They are going head to head right now. Now, this is going to be a battle of attrition and discipline. Now, Kraven, if you're talking about Kraven in his prime, he's shown that when he gets incredibly frustrated when he's not going his way. That's why Spider-Man was able to defeat him so many times. That's why the X-Men are able to defeat him. It's because he gets frustrated. And when he gets frustrated, he gets sloppy. Katana does not make that same mistake because of her discipline. And that's going to be the reason why Kraven ends up losing this fight, is because he's going to come in, he's going to get frustrated that he's not taking her out the way he wants to. He's going to come in, he's going to be sloppy about his entry, and she's going to take full advantage of it.
All right, gentlemen, that was an amazing argument. I loved it very much, but we are going to leave it to the guests to decide who will actually win this battle. Nyko, you had amazing points for Katana. Absolutely beautiful. Edwin, you did wonderful as well. I think it's a pretty head-to-head, pretty even battle here. But of course, once we upload this, then we will get solid votes on who actually won.
Okay. It obviously was me, but you know.
Bro, you got poisoned the moment you landed in the Savage Lands. Oh,
Dude,
God.
what are you talking about? Bro, you're screaming in
She's
Soul
gonna take that
Taker.
knife and
You're screaming inside of Soul Taker right now because your soul just left your body.
never happened, bro.
Listen,
She's sleeping, bro.
and
She's
listen.
tranquilized. She's tranquilized like this. Imagine, and
Hey.
you're like, did I get him? Did I get him?
Listen, and for the listeners out there, we got news last minute that Casey wasn't going to be able to make this battle, you know, and we were like, maybe we can postpone the match, you know, but we didn't want to do that. We wanted to make sure we got our content out to you guys because I know you guys take time out of your day to listen to us. So we wanted to give you the same respect. So that's why I stepped up to the plate. And, you know, I was researching Kraven and everything, and I was really nervous about this match, but I think 2 hours of prep time was more than enough to take Kraven down tonight. So
Stop trying to sell
Interesting.
yourself. Stop trying to sell
I
yourself.
disagree.
I just
Kraven's too big
don't
of a human being, bro.
listen.
His hands are the size of her face. Crack.
No, dude.
Maybe.
Listen, bro. It's okay. I don't want you to feel bad tonight. I know you had like
I never feel bad, bro.
almost 2 weeks to prep for your character, and I know
Never feel bad.
threw a curveball at you, putting me in with, you know, 2 hours of prep time. But it's hold your head up high, buddy. Hold your head
It's all
up.
good. Hey, buddy, I don't ever feel sorry. Got mistaken that attitude.
Can I just say something that this entire time that you were talking about Katana and everything that you had to say about her? Can I just say that can we change her name to Joyce because it sounds a lot like your mom,
Yeah.
little Asian lady who with all this strength and you know
Yeah.
no remorse.
Yeah. You want to say
Remorse.
little Asian ladies aren't that strong? You know how strong my mom is.
Yeah, it's true.
you might want to think
Making
about
that-
what you said
that
about little
comment.
Asian ladies before she comes up there.
I never said anything negative about little Asian ladies. I just
Uh,
said that you put a little Asian lady against a massive 6'4", 6'5" Russian dude. I mean,
that hasn't
don't
stopped.
judge by book by cover, but damn,
Throwing bears around.
perception's reality.
She's throwing bears and giant crocodiles and Kryptonians around. So
Hold on.
Thank your mom.
That I did not know, but that's why I like this too, because I get to learn about a lot of really, really cool things. That's why. I
oh,
enjoy
dude,
doing
I
this.
honestly I was nervous before going and taking this battle on because I know nothing about Katana. And
I knew nothing about Kraven either, man. When you gave me this, and I told you I've been really busy, so like I really try to sit, like when I'm out or I get time to just like, oh, let me go on YouTube or listen to other podcasts of people talking about them and writing little notes down. It's what I really had the chance to do the past 2 weeks. Not like go so dive in because I've been so busy about it. But I love the character, man, and that's why I tried to defend him as hard as I could. Because the truth is, I mean, you gave me an awesome character, and I was like, dude, this guy's awesome. Everything I learned about him, I was like, this is cool, and I like this stuff. You know what I mean? And to learn them from the basis of who they were and how long. I mean, this is a character that's been around since the 80s as well, I believe.
he's
and
been
then,
around
That
longer. I think he's been
explains-
Longer
around
or
since the
70s?
70s.
Yeah,
Oh,
70s.
70s.
Okay. Oh yeah, 1976. I think that's what it was. The first
Oh,
comic book
76.
he came out in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and which was just so freaking cool. You know, I was like, damn, look at all this go, because we all know this has grown so much to what we are now. So this has been a blast, and I love this. I can't wait for the next one. And I was gonna say, yeah, they said there's a sneak peek of them using him in the new like Spider-Man movies that he's coming out. So
yeah,
I'm looking for that.
yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Can we talk about the fact that he looks like a 70s porn star?
Oh my god.
Can we just
Oh, he looks pretty cool. I mean,
Dude, he
I
looks
mean,
like a man.
Pick Kraven.
Born in that era.
Ladies,
so-
he looks like a
Ladies
man.
listening,
He was born in that era. So.
just pick Kraven.
Listen,
All you gotta do
I
is
know we live
type
in an
Kraven on
era.
Google and you're gonna be like, ooh, I want Kraven to win.
Listen, I know we live in an era where it's okay for guys to like wear nail polish and makeup and all that crap. I know you're into the pretty boys and whatnot. I don't know why you're with me, but Kraven is.
Oh, he's mad ugly.
Kraven is a freaking man, and
So-
that's what.
As a man right there. He,
Porn stars that wear tiger and lion.
That used to be the definition
Listen,
of a man's man.
only-
that's a man right there. Yo,
Yeah,
if a man
only-
can wear a mane in public, like,
Only if he's Russian.
yeah, if a man can, okay. And if you just walked into, like, if I was in, I mean, New York City, it's different. If you go to Fort Myers and you just see a 6'4" dude walking with a mane, a lion's mane on his neck, you're gonna fuck with that guy. You're gonna be like,
Oh, you're gonna walk right out the way. You're going.
Like, that dude killed that lion.
No,
with
no,
his
no.
hands.
Honestly,
Yo, you want a beer, bro?
Exactly.
I would pull out my phone and just click.
Oh, and
this
he probably look
picture
at
of
you, do one of those, and then I'd be like, "Can I touch?"
You want the swing on my muscles?
I'm dead.
Oh my God, Justin, I see you running up there. Yes, I do. That was a
But
blast, guys.
that
Vote for
was
me.
fun.
Don't let me go in. It's
Yeah.
rigged.
But we're going to leave it up to the fans. We're also going to do another kind of ghost vote between the judges and our esteemed judge, Steve Payne. So we'll post their decision, and the listeners have a chance to reverse that decision. If you guys decide that the decision needs to be reversed, then we're going to go to a coin toss to decide who's going to move on to the next round.
Oh man, that's some stiff competition. Right
Boom. But thank you,
Awesome.
bro, for coming out. And I'm sorry that this is your first and last battle of the tournament.
Damn.
But you always got the next tournament, buddy. It's okay.
Yo, cockiness don't suit you, bro. You don't got that confidence, bro. It doesn't sound right coming out of your mouth.
It's okay. It's a new installment.
It's all good. You'll learn.
All right.
Thanks, man. This shit was awesome.
That was fun.
First, step up there first.
Talk about what? Right here?
Stop.
Next
Right
to
there.
it, yeah, right.
Stop.